You know that moment when you hear news so shocking that you have to sit down and process it? Well, that's exactly what happened across Nigeria yesterday when the former Attorney-General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, was dragged to court, and the gist that followed was absolutely wild. Before I continue, please smash that like button and subscribe to this channel because you don't want to miss any update on this story. Trust me, this is just the beginning. So picture this. The man who was supposed to be Nigeria's #1 law enforcer, the person who held the title of Attorney General for 8 whole years under former President Buhari, is now standing in the dock facing fraud charges worth 8.7 billion naira. Yes, you heard me right. 8.7 billion naira. And you won't believe what happened after the court session. But let me start from the beginning because this story is layered like Nigerian jollof rice with all the trimmings. Abubakar Malami was not just any government official. This was the Attorney General of the Federation, the Minister of Justice, a senior advocate of Nigeria. This man wore the wig and gown, stood in court, prosecuted cases, and was literally the chief law officer of our country. So when the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, came knocking with a 16-count charge sheet, people's jaws dropped to the floor. On Tuesday, December 30th, just yesterday, Malami showed up at the Federal High Court in Abuja with his son, Abubakar Abdulaziz Malami, and another person, an associate, named Hajia Bashir Asabe. The courtroom was packed, cameras were flashing, and everyone wanted to see how this drama would unfold. The charges they read out were so detailed, so specific, that you could hear the gasps in the courtroom. Now let me break down what EFCC is saying happened, and please keep your seatbelt fastened because this ride is bumpy. The Anti-Corruption Agency claims that between 2015 and 2025, which conveniently covers the entire time Malami was Attorney General, this man and his family allegedly used different companies as cover to move money around. We're talking about companies with fancy names like Metropolitan Autotech Limited, Mithaq Hotels Limited, and Raihan Hotels Limited. According to EFCC, these companies were just fronts, empty shells being used to hide where the money was really coming from and where it was really going. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. EFCC says Malami and his son moved over 1 billion naira through Metropolitan Autotech Limited and hid it in a sterling bank account. 1 billion naira. That's the kind of money that could transform entire communities, build schools, hospitals, and roads. But allegedly, it was sitting in a bank account being laundered through a company. In another instance, they allegedly took 600 million naira and used it as collateral to secure a loan for yet another hotel business. Can you imagine using 600 million naira as collateral? Most Nigerians are struggling to get a 100,000 naira loan from their bank. But wait, there's more. And if you haven't liked this video yet, please do it now because we're just getting to the juicy part. The EFCC didn't just stop at the bank accounts. They went full detective mode and started tracing properties. And what they found will blow your mind. According to the charge sheet, Malami allegedly bought properties all over Abuja and other major cities. We're talking about serious, mouth-watering properties in the most expensive neighborhoods. A luxury duplex on Amazon Street in Maitama, bought for 500 million naira. A property on Onitsha Crescent in Gaki for 700 million naira. The Mithaq Hotels in Jabi District valued at 850 million naira. Another property on Rhine Street in Maitama worth 430 million naira. Multiple properties in Asokoro totaling 535 million naira. A house in Efab Estate, Gwarimpa, for 120 million naira. And that's not even all of them. In total, EFCC claims they've traced 41 properties linked to Malami across multiple states with a combined value of over 212 billion naira. Let me repeat that. 212 billion naira worth of properties. We're talking about hotels, schools, factories, and residential buildings. This wasn't small-scale operation. This was allegedly an empire being built brick by brick, property by property, while the man was serving as the nation's chief law officer. Now, here's the clever part that EFCC uncovered. They say these properties weren't bought in Malami's name directly. That would be too obvious, right? Instead, they were allegedly purchased through other people and companies. This is where Hajia Bashir Asabe comes in. EFCC alleges that she works for a company called Rahamania Properties Limited and that she helped facilitate these property purchases, making sure Malami's name didn't appear on the documents while he secretly owned everything behind the scenes. It's like playing hide and seek with billions of naira. The EFCC prosecutor, a senior advocate named Ekele Ihanacho, stood up in court and laid out all these allegations with documents, bank statements, property deeds, witness statements, the works. On the other side, Malami's defense team, led by another heavyweight senior advocate, J.B. Daudu, was ready for battle. When the charges were read, all three defendants, Malami, his son, and Hajia Asabe, looked the judge straight in the eye and said not guilty. They pleaded not guilty to all 16 counts. So, what did the judge do? Justice Emeka Nite ordered that all three of them should be taken to Kuje Correctional Center. Yes, the famous Kuje Prison, the same prison where other high-profile suspects have been held. And let me tell you, this is not just any prison cell. Reports say Malami will be staying in what people call the VIP section of Kuje Prison, a section that was supposedly refurbished by another famous suspect, Abba Kyari. Even in prison, there are levels to this thing. But here's where the story takes a shocking turn, and this is why everyone is talking about this case today. If you're enjoying this gist, please subscribe to this channel right now and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this story. Trust me, this is just the beginning. After the court hearing ended and all three defendants were taken to Kuje Prison, something dramatic happened. Malami's son, Abdulaziz, suddenly fell ill. According to prison sources who spoke to reporters, the young man's health took a sharp decline and prison officials had to rush him to the Kuje Prison Clinic. As I'm recording this video, he's still there under observation and receiving treatment. Now, you can imagine the kind of speculation this has created on social media. People are asking all sorts of questions. Was it the shock of being in prison? Was it the stress of the court case? Was it a pre-existing condition? Some people are even suggesting it might be a strategy to gain sympathy or delay proceedings. I'm not saying any of these theories are true, but you know how Nigerians can analyze a situation from every possible angle. The timing of this health crisis is what has everyone talking about. On the same day you are arraigned, plead not guilty, get remanded in prison, and then suddenly you're being rushed to the clinic. It's the kind of plot twist you'd see in a Nollywood movie, except this is real life and real billions of naira are involved. Now, Malami's lawyers are not sitting down quietly. They filed for bail and the hearing is scheduled for January 2nd, which is just 2 days from now. The defense team argues that their client is a former Minister of Justice, a senior advocate of Nigeria with a reputation to protect, and that he's not going to run away. They're essentially saying, where would he even run to? He's too well known. But the EFCC is having none of it. They've opposed the bail application strongly, arguing that someone accused of laundering 8.7 billion naira should remain in custody. Let me pause here for a second and ask you this question. What do you think about this case? Drop your comments below. Do you think this is real anti-corruption action or is there something else going on? And don't forget to like this video if you're finding this breakdown helpful. The thing that makes this case so significant is not just the amount of money involved, though 8.7 billion naira is definitely not small change. It's who is involved. This is the former Attorney-General, the man who was supposed to fight corruption, the person who sat in government meetings discussing how to catch corrupt officials, and now he is the one being accused. It's like the goalkeeper scoring an own goal, except the stakes are much, much higher. EFCC has assembled a serious team of witnesses for this case. They've got bank officials who will testify about the transactions. They've got bureau de change operators who allegedly helped move the money. They've got company representatives who will explain how these corporate structures worked. And they've got their own investigators who've been tracking this case for months, maybe even years. The evidence they claim to have is substantial: bank statements, property documents, company registration papers, witness statements, the works. Think about what 8.7 billion naira could do for ordinary Nigerians. That money could build hospitals in rural areas where women are dying during childbirth because there's no medical facility nearby. It could construct roads that would connect isolated communities to markets and opportunities. It could fund scholarships for thousands of brilliant students who can't afford university fees. It could provide clean water to communities that have been fetching water from streams for generations. But instead, if these allegations are true, that money was allegedly being used to buy luxury properties and build a private empire.